how to complete the CSU application. My name is Louise Martinez. I'm an enrollment counselor with Cal State East Bay, and my colleague, I'll let him introduce himself.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today, and we are very excited to have you with us as you begin your next journey to Cal State East Bay.
And Krista, did you have some housekeeping that you wanted to add?
I'll just let everyone know that your video obviously is off because this is a webinar this morning. Feel free to use the Q&A chat box at the bottom if you have questions. And I think there'll be a portion where you can ask questions later, so you can raise your hand and use that function when Louise and Mark are ready to take questions, and then they can allow you to talk. Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to get started, and we're going to share a screen. So we'll start with this one. Go ahead, Mark.
Okay, well, again, welcome to all of our guests. My name is Mark Strong, and we want to let you know what you're going to need to have in order to complete your application. There are a couple of documents you want to have with you handy to really complete this rather long application. It's not necessarily difficult, but it is rather lengthy. So you want to have all your documents with you as you begin. The first thing are your unofficial college transcripts from all schools attended. They do not have to be official, only when you submit them to the university. But to fill out the application, unofficial will do. Your social security number, if you have it, your citizenship status as well, your method of payment, usually your credit card or debit card, annual income, your parents if you are dependent, and your own income if you are considered independent. Optional is your campus ID from your California Community College. If you do not have it, that's okay. It is optional. And for those of you who are applying to the Educational Opportunity Program, your parents' employment background and 2 letters of recommendation that you will input to the application or send to the actual respondents for your recommendation. Thank you.
Okay. Now the first step is going to be creating an account on the Cal State Apply Liaison website. I probably should tell you how to get there. So you're going to type into, there's a couple ways that you can actually get to the this website. You can go to calstate.edu/apply and click on the term in which you wish to apply, and then it will take you to this location. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to create an account. You're going to click here and begin creating your account. So anything that has an asterisk here will need to be completed. If it does not have an asterisk, then you do not need to fill in that information. That is optional. So you're going to give your first name. You can add your middle name and your last name or family name. You're going to give us your email address, confirm that email address, your preferred phone number, and tell us if it's your home number or a mobile number, and then an alternate number. You want to read this authorization, terms of service, so you want to make sure that you read this before you click it. As you see, it's not required, but it gives you an opportunity to contact you by text or phone. You're going to create a username and password. Your username must be at least 6 characters. It can be anything. Uppercase. You need to have at least 1 uppercase, 1 lowercase. For your username, it can be your name. It could be anything. Your password must be 8 characters with an uppercase, a lowercase, a number, and a symbol. Those are all required in creating a password. You're going to confirm that password. Again, you're going to want to read the terms and conditions before you click and agree. And then you will need to go on to click yes if you agree to those terms. If you are part of the European Union, if you are located there, then you would click that yes, you are, but most students are here in the United States, so you would click no. it will take you on to a new page where you're going to select some more additional information. And since I'm not going to be creating an account again, I'm going to go ahead and go on to the information where your extended profile. So you're going to find that information that you just entered here in your profile. As you see, all this information is there. Then the next information will be on your extended profile. When you're creating the account, this is where you will find this information. So you're coming in for your first bachelor's degree, or maybe you're coming in as a graduate student or for the teaching credential. So you're going to be indicating which you are doing. If you're a high school student who just graduated and will be attending East Bay in the spring, you would indicate that you're a high school student. Did you earn any community college units? For those students who are in this category, if you take classes in the summer after high school graduation, it's not an issue. You're still an entering freshman. If you plan on taking courses in the fall before attending, you would no longer be considered a first-time freshman. You would have to then wait until you're an upper division transfer. We do not accept lower division transfer students. So if your true wish is to come to the university as an entering freshman and you just graduated, do not take courses this fall at the community college. Bypass taking classes this fall and then just start with us in the spring. So you're going to indicate that. If you are a transfer student and you've completed a associate's degree for transfer, you are going to go ahead and indicate where you completed that. So maybe you're a Chabot student and you completed your associate's degree in business administration, and that would indicate that you are earning the ADT. If you do not have an associate's degree for transfer, you can still transfer, not a problem. You would indicate that you're transferring from the community college to, or from another four-year institution, and you're transferring to the university. We do not, again, we do not accept lower division transfers, so you're going to want to be indicating that you're going to have at least 60 units. You may not have 60 units at this very moment. I know some summer classes are still going on, so maybe you're completing those units now, and you will have 60 units before you transfer. So if you're a returning Cal State East Bay student, you're going to indicate yes, but if not, then you can indicate no. You're going to tell us about your military status. There's lots of options: active duty, retired veteran, all that. If you have international coursework, you're going to indicate that you have international, whether you're on an F1 or J1. And then you're going to save those changes and you're going to move on to the next. The next thing you're going to be doing after you complete that is you're going to be adding a program. This is where you select the campuses that you're going to be applying for and what major you're going to be applying for. So I'm going to be applying for Cal State East Bay. We are selecting on-campus programs. We are going to apply for spring, and it will list all the programs that we have available. There are multiple pages, so make sure if you don't see it on that first page, search for your major. So since I picked business before, I'm going to pick my business. I'm going to choose finance. Maybe you changed your mind. Well, you can always undo this and select a new major. So once you do this, scroll to the top, and then you will go on to the next page. Oh, did I reset it? I did, sorry. East Bay. See, I've done this for a while and I still make mistakes. So don't feel bad if you make a mistake. All things are fixable at this point. So I have, okay. So now I'm going to get to start on my application. And it goes into, there are 4 quadrants. And as you see, I've already started some things. The program material has been completed. Our personal information, we're going to work on that right now. And so we're going to go through each quadrant and go through it to hopefully answer some questions for you. Hold on for 1 second. So we're going to start with the release. So you need to read all of these little legal things, and it's basically going to be, this part is saying that you are telling us the truth. Everything that you're including on here is to the best of your knowledge. Make sure you read it before you click it. If you want to release information, you click on this box, additional information release. So make sure, as I said, read everything. Once you've completed this, you can save and continue on to the next section. Here's where a lot of your information from the, when you created the account is going to be. And then we're going to start with your legal sex, male, female. Do you consider yourself lesbian, gay, and so forth? You can decline to state at any point. How do you describe yourself? Female, woman, man, trans, so forth. You can decline to state. I am going to select that. And then gender conforming, gender non-conforming, and so forth. Again, you can decline to state at any point on that one. You're going to put in your date of birth, the country where you were born. There's a long selection of countries. The United States is right at the top. The city that you were born in, the state, and the county of which you were born in. So if you were born in Hayward, you would use Alameda County. This information is about if you were a ward of the court, if you were in foster care, if you were considered homeless. This is during probably teen years, more likely than a transfer student currently. So it does refer to more along the lines of a high school student. So please read these questions and answer them. High school students have a student ID, state ID, so you can put that in there. Once you have completed this, the save and continue will appear and you will click on to the next page. I'm not going to be filling that out, so I'm going to just continue on. Next, you're going to be doing your current address. So I'm going to put in an address. Okay, and I'm going to put 9. I'm not actually, oh, 94542, no, 945. Sorry, I had the address wrong. If you're not going to be there a long time, this address is only a temporary address, then you would indicate when you're going to, how long it's going to be current. If it's your permanent address, you're going to indicate yes. Oh, I forgot, I needed to say the United States and California. See, I told you and it gives you a suggestion here. So if this is the correct address, you click on yes, and it will fill in all the rest of the stuff, whether it's a permanent address or not permanent address. You're going to be giving us your phone, an alternate phone number, or if you need to change it, you go back into the profile section. This is all saved. And I'm going to save and continue on to the next one. This information is going to be about your citizenship, your residency. If you are an AB 540 student, you're going to select none. If you have a permanent resident card, you're going to select a permanent resident card. If you're a refugee or have another visa, you're going to indicate that. If you have a permanent resident card, it's going to ask you for your country of citizenship. If you're not a US citizen, it's going to ask for country of citizenship, when the card was issued, and when you came to the United States. It's going to ask you about California residency, and AB 540 students can claim California as a resident. So if you are not a California resident, you would indicate if it's another country or if it's another state. Do you claim California resident? This is one of the errors I see a lot with students. I see students who have never lived outside of California, were born and raised here, never went anywhere else, or maybe even lived a short period of time during their childhood in another state, but they've been here for an extended period of time. And I see students saying no, that they are not claiming California residence. So, and sometimes it's no, they are not claiming California residence, and yes, they are. They have lived in California continuously. So make sure that you read that carefully and then answer those questions. As you see the check marks on here, this means that that section has been completed. If you have no check mark, that means that you need to go back and make sure that that is completed. Okay, on to the next page. Ethnicity, it's going to ask question, do you regard, with regards to your ethnicity, do you consider yourself Hispanic or Latino? Yes or no? And then you will select which best describes you. As far as race, this is a required area as well. You can, again, if you do not wish to answer, you can decline to state. This one, we need reporting, for reporting only summary of your ethnicity. You can indicate your identity. And of course, you can decline to state. And off to the next one. Other information. So here is where you're going to be using your Social Security number. So yes, you have a Social Security number. Make sure to enter it correctly, verify it, make sure that you have not made an error. We use this for matching, especially if you're filing for financial aid, as a way for us to match up those files together. Your first language, and there are many. English is at the very top. Your military status has already been entered. If you're dependent of the military, you're going to indicate that here. Your academic standing. So the last school that you attended, are you in good standing? Meaning that you have not been disqualified or had any academic or disciplinary violations. So you're going to say yes, that you are in good academic standing. Have you ever been disciplined for academic performance, probation, or disqualification from any college or university? Yes or no? Have you been academically disqualified? Now, this doesn't automatically disqualify you from being admitted to the university. We're going to look at your whole career, college career or high school career, and determine if you meet the admissions requirements. You may have had an issue in the very beginning of your career, so this may, don't be discouraged if at one point you didn't do so well and now you've recovered. If you've ever had discipline for conduct violation and so forth. And we're gonna say no. How, are you interested in the teaching credential? If you're not, you click on not interested. Oh, let me finish it. If you're applying at a later time or if you're applying now, you would indicate that there. This question needs to be answered about CalFresh if you want to be considered to be checked for eligibility to the program. CalFresh is a great program for students who may have the need. California Promise, if you're an entering freshman and you're agreeing to complete so many units per term in order to graduate in 4 years, or if you have an associate's degree for transfer, you can do California Promise as well. It's, again, you have to complete so many units per term, and seek out your advising, and they will go ahead and be part of that. You can read more information about the California Promise there. Are you do you have an RN license? Yes or no? And how did you hear about us? And there are many, many different links of many different answers of how you heard from us. And then financial information. So this information is a little bit more in depth, and this is where you need that information on taxes. If you answer yes to any of these questions, you're considered independent. If you answer no to every single question, doesn't always mean that you're not independent. Here are some additional questions that may regard you as an independent student. But if you are, if you answer no to every single question, then you're going to be a dependent student. So I've selected an independent student. The family size, that includes yourself, your spouse, children. If you are a dependent student, of course, you're going to be doing the whole household. How many dependent children were living with you in 2018? And the family income, and this will be from your taxes. It will be the adjusted gross income. And they don't want cents, they just want the dollar amounts. Untaxed income. Untaxed income, this is another place where I see students misunderstand. Untaxed income is not the same amount that you're putting here. Untaxed income, if you're confused of what would be untaxed, click right here, and it tells you, it gives you more detail about so an untaxed income would be child support, untaxed portion of pension, food, housing, and other allowances for clergy, military, and so forth. So there are some descriptions of what untaxed income is, but don't enter the same amount, because then you'll have more income than you actually do. If you're interested in campus housing and the education of your parents, and once you've completed that, you will go on to the next section, which brings us to Mark.
Okay, good morning again, everyone. So I'm going to begin the next section for you. And first I'm going to share my screen. And before I do that, I want to answer a question for a student that wanted to know if we were using this application as a part of the nursing CAS information application. We are not. CAS is a separate nursing application, which you want to follow through on that separately for East Bay Spring 2021 nursing class for the Concord campus. So you want to fill this application out, most certainly. You want to definitely do that. And then you want to, secondly, complete the nursing CAS information. That's a separate application entirely, okay?
Mark?
Yeah.
Remember, nursing is not taking applications this year.
Well, I mean, for spring 2021.
No.
No, I thought they were.
I'm almost positive they're not.
Okay. You may be right. We'll double check on that and let everyone know for especially the student who had the nursing information question, and we'll go from there. Thanks, Louise, for checking on that. Okay.
I will check on it now.
Thanks. Okay, so before you begin, though, students, you want to make sure that you can get information regarding the CSU Apply application by going here, Transfer Application Guide, and this will be a sort of step-by-step detailed array of information that you can use to make sure you're filling everything out correctly. Transcripts, documents, deadlines, etc. Okay, and we're not going to spend too much time on that because we're basically doing it now. All right, and we'll go on back. Okay, so as Louise mentioned, I'm going to be next up for the academic history. And as you're completing it, you want to start with your high school information. And so we have here Newark Memorial High School, August 2009 to June 2013, semester system. And when you're inputting that, you want to make sure it's all done correctly. Okay. Then you move on, save the school, and move to the next area. Okay. Indicating you have or will graduate with your diploma. Okay. And the way you do that, for our purposes here, we're going to go back, save and continue. Okay. And you've indicated you graduated in June 2013. Is this correct? Yes, it is. And when you do that, continue to the next session. And adding colleges and universities. So this student, Louise, attended Laney College and Merritt College. Now, sometimes students can kind of get a little confused. So you want to make sure that when you're doing that, and believe it or not, sometimes students do not know, very rarely, if it's semester system campus or quarter system campus. So you want to make sure you know that and hit semester. And before you do that, did you obtain your degree or planning to obtain a degree from the college? Yes or no? Okay. When did you attend? Spring, January 2018 is when the journey began. And if you have not concluded your journey, just go ahead and check still attending. And save. And you can always add a college. And when you do that, you just go ahead and click this one here, add college. And for our purposes, we added Merritt College. Similar situation there. Okay. Now, to begin, transcript entry. This is the lengthiest part of the application. So again, you want to make sure that you have your unofficial transcripts from all colleges attended. It's very important. Because you want to input several key courses. Well, first of all, you want to input all classes, but there are several key classes for transfer students that you must input as well. Now, I'm going to read a few statements here. Complete the section accurately. Report all courses on your transcripts. Be sure to include courses from which you withdrew, repeated courses, ungraded labs, test credits, gym courses, orientations, or other non-graded courses. Use official copies of your transcripts. Keep in mind, when we say official, they can be unsealed. So official usually means a sealed envelope. As long as you have them from your school registrar, obviously, we will accept those that you're inputting. List your courses under the correct term, year, and class level. Department prefixes and course numbers must precisely match those on your transcripts. Enter courses under the institution where you originally took the courses exactly as they appear on the original school's transcript. Now, after you enter transcript information for all colleges attended, you can review your calculated GPA on the right side. You can recalculate if you add additional courses after the initial calculation. First-time freshman applicants. Report all college coursework while enrolled in high school. You must manually match college courses with the appropriate A through G category in the A through G matching section. Lower division, upper division, and associate degree for transfer applicants report all courses completed and all colleges attended. Now, in terms of the GPA, keep in mind, as you see right here, for our purposes, 3.91, credit hours 33.5, and clearly we know that you need 60 hours, but for the sake of time, we did not, include 60 units. But keep in mind, Cal State East Bay only has one impacted major where the GPA and several prerequisites is really required. And Louise is looking on information right now. But so in terms of having a GPA that you're gonna feel that you need to be competitive to gain admission, our university for local Bay Area students as long as you have a minimum 2.0 GPA and 60 collegiate transferable units, you are admissible.
Okay, Mark, I have an answer for you.
Okay.
The next opportunity to apply for nursing will be spring 22.
Okay. So no spring 2021?
No,
Okay. Thanks for the information.
you're welcome.
Okay. So for the student that has information or had that question, you want to reach out to the nursing department timeline for that information there. Okay. All right, so now, so that was the GPA area there. Now, as you're continuing, Laney College, transcript entry, this is when you're inputting your grades. And when you're doing that, you just want to make sure you are doing it correctly, because if you fail to miss an area, it may end up not letting you proceed. So just to make that capitalized there. And then when you switch over, you kind of go and you press save, and saving it, allowing you to continue to the next section. Now say you mistakenly put an A, but you really received a B, you can correct it, put in your B, remove the cursor, let it shadow there, save, and you're good to move forward. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, there are several key classes for transfer students that you need to gain entry to the university. They are, as you already know, probably, English composition, math, quantitative reasoning, public speaking, and critical thinking. So this student here, there's an English 1 composition and reading. Perfect. Math 15, math for liberal arts. That is a B4 section math. Transferable, so done. Communications 20, completed. And critical thinking, completed. So now, just forecast, as we mentioned, we only have 33 units, but just pretend we have 60 units. And this student has not only the 60 transferable units, but also the required Golden 4. The 4 courses that I just went over, making the student eligible and 100% likely, definitely confirmed eligibility. They will be admitted. And we're going to move on to the next section here. General education. Now, in terms of GEs, what we're specifically looking for are these classes here. Okay. You're going to re-input them in the GE section. So we just kind of reconfirm that you have them completed. Okay. Oral communication, A1, written, A2, A3, critical thinking, and B4 math. Then save and continue. Continue to the next section. Standardized test. Usually, most students that are transfer students will not have standardized tests that they're going to submit unless they, took other lower division students, usually veterans, and they want to submit the SAT score or ACT score. That is usually the only category of student that will submit those tests, usually veterans, applying with less than 60 units. So we're going to move on. Advanced placement. If you were a student who took an AP exam and have a score 3 or above, then you will receive college credit in that particular subject area. Okay. Anything below 3, college credit is not offered. Okay. And for our purposes, no AP scores reported. Save and continue. clip exams. Okay. They're offering another College Board offering tests where you can waive college credits if you pass. And for our purposes, now recorded, saving and continuing. Next section. And for IB scores as well. And then reported. Okay. And Louise will take over the EOP section here. And this is where we'll need additional information from you regarding EOP. Louise? Volume.
All right, so we're now heading to the next section. As you see, Mark has completed his area, and now we're going on to EOP. Unfortunately, EOP does not accept students during the spring term. They only accept applicants during the fall term. So if you are applying for fall, then you can apply for the EOP program. If you are an EOPS student, you can indicate here, yes, you are, or no, you are not. I'm going to say no. And then you're going to be saying that no, you're not going to be applying to the EOP program because, again, they do not accept students in the spring. You're going to continue and save. And on to the next section. This is where it gives you information about your program. So you have selected, we have selected business, economics, or business with finance as our major, and this is more information about the program. It gives you some additional information, and basically we should be done. As you see, everything is done except for the questions that I did not finish in the personal area, just so that you see exactly what is what needs to be completed. Again, the check marks indicate that it's been completed. The non-check boxes means that you still need to go back and complete that. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't go back into any of these sections and fix something. Maybe you want to double check everything to make sure that it is complete, or that you typed in everything correctly. You can go back to any of these sections before you submit it and double check everything. Okay, so then once you're done, you're going to submit application. Right now, we're not showing that we've completed it. So again, it's not completely green, so we need to finish up what we're doing here. And then we can submit it. There are possibilities for fee waivers. The application fee is $70 per application. If you can apply to more than one campus. If you find that you don't want to submit any of these, or you don't want to submit a specific campus, I have Humboldt and East Bay. Once you make your decision, if you decide, oh, I'm not going to do Humboldt after all, you can cancel that. Once the application is complete, there will be a submit button, so you can submit only the individual campus, or you can submit them all at the same time. There is, I had a screen up here for, okay. So I'm going to show this screen here because this is what it looks like when you've completed everything. It indicate that you have 2 applications that are ready for submission, the total cost. If you qualify for a fee waiver, again, remember I said something about the income on that part where you're dependent or independent. If you put in both the same amounts and taxed income and untaxed income, then your income would be way too high and you would not qualify for this, but it wouldn't necessarily mean that you didn't qualify, just that that's why you need to make sure that that information is correct. And so you're going to click on check for fee waivers and it'll tell you whether you qualify for the fee waiver or not. If you do qualify for the fee waiver, you actually can apply to 4 campuses for free under that fee waiver. So that's one of the nice parts. If you do not qualify, again, it's $70 per application. Of course, if you choose to only submit one and then figure out, well, do I really want to submit all the other ones? You can do that at a different time. You don't lose that information as long as you don't delete it. It's still there. So maybe on today you decide, well, you know what, I'm going to put my application in for East Bay, and because I have that money, I have that $70, and I'm going to go ahead and submit it. And then I'm going to submit my San Francisco State or San Jose State one a little bit later in the month when I have the additional fees, if you don't qualify for the fee waiver. Okay, so we're going to go back to the application. So then you can always check your status here and find out where your applications are. As you see, we are in the process. We have not completed it. So you can always check your status there as well. And I think we've gotten through the whole application. I just want to touch on a couple things because I was reading some of the questions that were out there. Transfer students, we really don't care about the coursework in high school or the test scores unless they were APs and you were using them for course credit. So you don't have to worry about that. High school students, again, if you have college work after high school, after summer term of high school, then you would need to complete your requirements for transfer and you would not be a entering freshman. We would not need high school transcripts if you're a transfer student. The transcripts will be due October 1st, and you will get more information. Once you submit your application, you will receive a thank you email. You will receive a letter with your a net ID, and it will ask you to activate your net ID. Please do that as soon as possible so you can monitor your application and see the process and what is due. There'll be a to-do list and everything for you to do. So make sure you take care of that. And let's see, I think we have one more thing I wanted to, and then of course I want to share our information. So if you need to contact us, Mark and I are not the only enrollment counselors in our office. There are multiple enrollment counselors and we each have an area that we serve. I serve the high schools in Fremont, Union City, Newark, Hayward, and I have 4 community colleges, Laney, Las Positas, Chabot, and Ohlone. So if you're a student there, you can contact me. Even if you're not a student there, you can always contact me. I will share your information with who is serving your school. So please feel free to contact me. There's my office number. We are not in the office full time yet, so you can contact us by email. It's probably the easiest way. So anyway, anything else that you can think of, Mark?
That's about it for students. I'm seeing a few questions about not having 60 units currently, very close, maybe a few classes shy or a few units shy. Keep in mind, for spring admission, you must have 60 units complete by the end of the summer. Okay, so if you have 56 units now, and you're not going to be able to have 4 more units on your program or transcript by the end of summer, you may want to consider submitting a late application request, seeking permission to take a class that is 4 units in length this fall. That way, you know, the university can't guarantee admission, but certainly will still consider it significantly. Okay? If you're able to add a class either online somewhere between now and the summer to give you 60 units, that would be fine. Okay, if you're able to do it, say, this week, next week sometime, and have it done the end of summer. And for us, what we mean end of summer is typically mid-September, as long as it's on that transcript by the end of October or mid-October when the deadline is, you should be good. Okay.
Okay, somebody's got
And
their hand raised?
that was I'm answering questions as we're doing as you were talking.
We have a question. Somebody has their hand raised. I'm going to go ahead. Michelle, go ahead. Ask your question.
No, thank you. I'm fine now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bradley, are you there?
Hello, Louise. This is Bradley.
And your question?
So, as Mark was saying, if I will be completing my 60 unit requirement by fall, I will not be able to be accepted for spring.
You will need to contact either Mark or myself, and we can tell you about, there's a possibility of requesting that your fall grades or your fall units be considered.
Okay.
But it would not be an automatic. There's no guarantee that it will be approved, but it is definitely worth a try to ask for that exception.
Okay. I'm also a veteran and I have an AST degree, or would that be, well, I'll be completing the AST. Would that be helpful for that?
I'm gonna let Mark take that because Mark serves the veteran population.
Okay.
So,
Mark?
Brad, in your case, you would be good. So there's really no extra process for you beyond just submitting your application, receiving your transcripts, and you will be admitted provided you've completed most of the Golden Four.
Even though I do not meet the requirements for the 60 units yet?
Correct. Veterans are the only category of student where that applies.
Okay. Thank you, Mark. I was just really worried about that because, how the GI Bill goes.
Absolutely. Definitely understand. So go ahead and submit. If you run into any problems, reach out to the admissions office and we will take care of it.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay, welcome.
Okay. So I know we have more questions out there. Anybody want to raise their hand? I'm going to leave up this. We have some other questions. Let's see. I'm sure. Okay, so student who is going to be one class short of having the AST. Let's see, I originally intended to receive the AST along with transferring, but I will be short one class at the time of fall semester ends. Okay, let me just tell you a little bit about what the requirements are, and I think that might be the confusing part. You do not need to have an AST in order to transfer to the university. It is helpful. It's highly encouraged because it makes your life a little bit easier because all that lower division is being taken care of and your major coursework is taken care of. But one of the things that the minimum requirements are going to be the 60 transferable units, completion of your speech, English, critical thinking, and math, a transferable math. So if those are all done, then you should be fine to transfer whether you have the associate's degree for transfer or not, as long as you have those requirements. Again, it's always to your advantage to have as many of the coursework done as possible. But if you're really close to that AST, you're going to be in really good shape. Okay. Let's see. Mark, do you want to take any of these questions?
Sure. Let's see here. Are there any grants or fee waivers for applications? And that was from Kaya, I believe. The answer is yes, fee waivers. And that is, you're gonna, as Luis mentioned, toward the end of the application, based on the income information that you inputted, the portal will let you know automatically if you receive an application fee waiver. Okay? And if you do receive a fee waiver, you can apply to 4 CSU campuses for free. If you do not receive a fee waiver, then the application fee is $70.
Let's see, we have AP question. So AP, if you are receiving credit for those AP exams, if you scored a 3 or better on an AP exam, they can give you credit, college credit for an area. Some students have taken a language and received credit for that, and they receive units. They would put it on in the application. If they receive during that first term that you're there, you're going to put AP, you're going to put the exam, and you're going to put the units that it corresponds with. And so there is a help part. If you have questions about how to do that, just click on that particular page and there will be a help on how to enter the AP scores.
Okay. And Louise, there's a graduate school question from Satayadev, I believe. Hope I said it right.
Okay.
The master's in CS. Well, what we'd like for you to do is to go to the graduate admissions website, go to Cal City East Bay's homepage, look for admissions, and look for graduate school, okay? And you'll find the information that you need for graduate school deadlines. Just look for deadlines in general, admission deadlines in general, and you'll see the information for graduate school deadlines. Specifically though, you also want to look at the Department for Computer Science separately, because there are university deadlines, and for graduate school, there may be separate deadlines. So very important to do that when you're looking at graduate school. I hope I answered your question.
For undergrads, the transcript deadline is October 1st. Okay. Okay, so I have a student who does not have access to unofficial transcripts. If you have grade reports, if you cannot access them through your student portal, unfortunately, you may have to request transcripts from the school in order for you to get the correct information into the application. So you will need some form of transcript in order to put in the information onto the application. Okay, and the same student, Natalie, you said that you've requested the official transcripts to be sent to East Bay. If you've done that already, then we would have access to it, but unfortunately, you're going to need to have access to it, and we do not release other school transcripts to students. We have no authorization to do that. Any other questions here that we? Are there any grants? Let's see. I am not going to even try. Rukaya, are there any grants or fee waivers for applications? The fee waiver is available on the application itself. It is based on the information you provide in the application about family size and income. We do not have those guidelines, so I have no idea if you make this much and have a family of this size, will you qualify? It's all embedded into the application, so you would need to put in the information at the very end. It will ask you, there's a, right next to the total amount, it'll say check for fee waivers. Click on that, and then it would be able to tell you whether you, you qualify or not. Again, if you do qualify, there are 4 fee waivers. You can apply up to 4 campuses for that, with that fee waiver.
Okay, and Louise, there's a question about double majoring in at the university. So when you're applying to the university, you're applying broadly. We have no impacted majors except for nursing, and we discussed that, so there's no separate application required for any other major except for that particular area. So when you are admitted to the school, you're going to be admitted into your major automatically based upon whatever you select. So if you're going to select 2 majors, that's fine, you'll be admitted.
And then you would add the second major once you're on campus. Okay. Question, do you need to finish the application in one sitting? No. You can start it on August 1st and finish it on August 31st. As long as you submit it by August 31st, you're good. You can come back. As long as you've saved that page, everything that you saved, everything that's been checked will be saved, and you can come back at any time. So you can fill out a lot of the information. Maybe the longest part is going to be entering your classes. So you may want to come back and do that at a different time, or do that in smaller chunks.
And what time can I expect to hear acceptance or rejection letters? Well, as early as mid-September and as late as early January. And what do I mean by that? Based upon the workflow of our students getting in their applications, getting in their transcripts, the file will become complete. And as your file is becoming complete, it will be reviewed by our staff, and they will render a decision. So as soon as the application is submitted and all official transcripts are delivered, processed, and reviewed, the decision is going to be rendered. For students who get their transcripts in early, that can be probably within about 2 to 3 weeks. If there are some delays, and based upon, of course, the virus, we are certainly limited day to day in terms of our staffing. It could be sometime around October through November. But I will say this, the sooner all transcripts are delivered, the sooner our staff can get to them for review, and the sooner you will definitely be notified.
Mark, you want to take this next one? How do I submit a late application request because I will have 60 units credits in fall?
Okay. Well, as we mentioned, there's a process for students who do not have 60 units now. And normally, if the student is a veteran, there's a little more streamlined process to help them navigate those waters based upon their service to the country, et cetera. For students who are not veterans, what we probably would want to do is offer our email address to you, help you navigate it as well, but it'll be a little lengthier in the timing of the evaluation. So, and I think that's what we're going to do. We'll leave our email to everyone. If you're running that particular predicament, you want to stay in touch with Louise and myself, and we'll help you navigate. Generally, a student who does not have 60 units now and submitting the application for spring 2021, they would be denied based upon not having the correct amount of units, even though you may have completed the 4 required courses. So a student can have the option of holding off, letting August 31st pass, then reaching out to the university, meaning Louise and myself as officials, and submitting a late application request. Based upon your particular circumstances, if you're just shy of 60 units, I think the university most likely will look favorable upon the request. If you're, say, 45 units, 48 units, that's going to be problematic. If you're 55 units, you know, I think we can certainly work with you there. So we'll leave our emails in the chat, and if anyone has a particular predicament in that area, reach out to us over the weekend, and on Monday and Tuesday, we'll get you going.
Okay. I have a student who's a previous student from ours, a returning student. They already have an associate's degree, and they're finishing up their 60 units to obtain a degree from us. As a returning student, you do not need to meet transfer requirements. You can come in as a returning student. The only reason that you would not be able to return smoothly is if you did not leave in good academic standing. So if you were disqualified, then you would need to reach out to Mark or myself, and we can tell you the steps you would need to do to return. But if you are left in good standing, then you can reapply as a returning student without having to meet the transfer requirements. Okay. Again, the remaining courses are going to be done in fall. So again, we're going to be in contact with us and we can tell you exactly what you need to do to submit a request to have your fall grades considered. Another nursing program question. The next opportunity to apply for nursing will be spring 2022. The students who were admitted to for fall 2020 have been postponed, so they will start their program in fall of 2021. So they will not be taking any new applications for fall of 2021. The next opportunity will be spring 2022. Okay.
And Louise, let me just add as well, for some students, if they were applying and if they were feeling a little borderline in terms of getting in, because we know it's very competitive, the bright side, if there is a bright side to that, is that some may be able to work on elevating their profile to get into nursing when it does resume. And what I mean by that is this: continuing your service hours, either paid or non-paid, maybe getting a phlebotomy license, maybe doing things to make yourself a little more competitive for when nursing applications resume. So that's probably the only bright side to this situation, is that for some who maybe were a little borderline in terms of the competitive nursing GPA or TEAS exam score, may offer them an opportunity to elevate the profile a little higher.
Okay. Let's see what else we have. Again, we're having the question about if you're getting the 60 units in Golden 4 in the fall. Again, submit the application and then you're going to request those courses to be considered for spring admissions. Fee waiver. How do you apply for the fee waiver for the applications? I'm not sure if we were kind of covered that, but in case you missed it, when you get to the very end of the application, when you go to the submit, there will be right next to the total amount that you owe, there will be a text that says check for fee waivers. So you're going to click on that. Based on the information you provided in the application, it will determine whether you qualify for the fee waiver. If you do get the fee waiver, again, you get 4 applications for free. Okay. International applicants in the experience details it asks for. I'm sorry, your question didn't get completely put in there. Mark and I do not usually work with international students, so I know there's a little bit of difference there. So I think that reaching out to our international admission office might be the good place to go. Their email address is iao@csueastbay.edu. Okay, Alexandra. Where do you find the application for the intent to complete our 60 units in fall? So you're going to be submitting a petition. Once you submit your application, you'll submit your CSU application, and then you'll petition for admissions petitions. And again, contact us if you need that email. You will also be sent an email if you do not meet the admissions requirements, and it will have that those steps there as well. Let's see, anything else? The experience details, number of weeks. As I said, I really am not aware of how the international application is completed. Mark, do you have any idea?
For That area, I do not. It's we don't really see a lot of that in terms of what we do, but we have counterparts in the international side of admissions who do know. And so we want you to definitely reach out to them to see what they're looking for there.
Okay. If you have over 60 units, do you have to submit all units to your from your transcript? Yes, you're going to enter everything that is on your transcript. Whether you have 60 units or 100 units, you're going to enter all the information on the application. We need the most accurate information possible because in some cases, the information that you provide can speed up the decision process because some students will be admitted based on self-reported information. Not that we aren't going to verify everything when we get your transcript, but you could possibly get an earlier decision based on the accuracy of your application. So you want to make sure that you're as accurate as possible, entering all the information from your transcript. Okay, and Natalie is going to request an unofficial transcript. Thank you, Natalie. Okay, I will have 60 units in the fall. Can I apply for fall 2021? Yes, you can. If you're applying for fall 2021, you need to have all your 60 units and 4 courses requirements completed by the end of spring 2021. It's up to you if you want to hold off, but there might be a possibility of being able to use the fall grades to be considered. Again, if you're completing 4 classes and will complete the 60 units in the fall, should I submit the application? It is a personal decision. I don't think there's a one answer for all. So for some students, it may be better for them to wait until the end to apply for fall, but for other students, it may be the best thing for them to do is again, petition to see if they can use their fall grades or their fall units in order to be considered for fall admissions.
Louise?
Yes.
I see a question from Lulia, I believe it is, regarding TOEFL and STAT for graduate admissions. So by that question, I take it you're probably an international student. What we want you to do is definitely reach out to International Admissions Office and also your major department that you're looking to get your graduate degree in. Because there are specific tests they want and require for international admissions, obviously. And for your department, there may be some benchmarks as well for those tests. So reach out separately to International Admissions Office and the degree department that you're seeking to get your credential.
Okay. Question about fall. Fall applications will open for fall 2021 will open October 1st. And I believe December 4th is the deadline. It has been extended from the usual November 30th deadline because of when November 30th lands. I believe it's Thanksgiving and a weekend. So that has been extended out. Let's see, anything else? Any other questions here? So I took the last courses at the community college in summer 2020. Can I still apply for transfer? And yes, if you've completed all your requirements by the end of summer of 2020, you are good to go for spring 2021. I know we're over our time, and I don't know if anybody else, I know students are probably leaving when they need to go off to the next sessions. So we still have 10 more questions. Let's see. I was informed in the transfer Zoom session that if we're taking courses in the fall, that they apply towards the application for spring as long as it was entered by January. Again, East Bay says that you need to have your 60 units and Golden 4 done by summer in order to be considered for fall or for spring admissions. It's not a guarantee that if you take courses in the fall to finish that requirements that we're going to say yes, but it is definitely worth an attempt to try to do that. If everything looks good, it's very possible, but I can't say yes for sure because it is not my decision. It's the decision of our petitions coordinator. Okay, did I get everybody? Mark, do you see any other questions that we're missing?
Jocelyn Putney, I'm trying to apply to PACE program for human development. When filling out the application for Cal State, what major should I put? Because human development is not an option. That's interesting because there's really, I believe, only two majors, human development and liberal studies. You want to make sure it's probably the online major for human development, PACE. What we're going to ask you to do is to reach out to the PACE coordinator. If you go to East Bay's homepage, search window, type in PACE, that information will come up. The coordinator's name is Shannon Corksrin. Okay, and I'll see if I can get you that information. I'm going to type you the answer now.
Okay. Okay, we have a question about AP. How old can AP? AP is AP. Once you receive that credit, you may have received credit for it at the community college as well. So Kenya, how old can the AP scores be? More than 4 years or recent 4 years? There's no time limit on the AP score. So just you're going to need to produce them, the official scores. So we will need official scores if you are doing the AP, are receiving credit for the AP exams. So you will need to contact College Board and have them send them the official scores to us. If they're over 4 years, it may take a little while to get them because they are archived, but we still do receive test scores that have been a little bit older. Let's see. Anything else? Have a student who calculated 57. Is it possible to be at 57 and still apply? Again, you may need to take that course in the summertime, in the fall to get to that 60 units, but you want to make sure, this is for Elmer. So if you need to complete the additional units in the fall, again, you'll need to petition to have the fall courses considered. If you want to ask your question verbally, you can just raise your hand. I don't know if we have any hand raised. I don't see any. Let's see. Okay. Let me go to participants and see if your hand's raised. Noelle, did you have a question?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I just wanted to get clarification. I was on the transfer Zoom earlier this morning and was instructed that as long as this is pertaining to spring 21 and taking a course in the fall, not one of the Golden 4, that as long as everything is done by January and you put on your application that you're in progress, that you'll still be considered. And I'm getting a little bit of conflicting information. You guys are saying that there's some type of petition in order to do that? I just want a clarification because they didn't touch on that.
Okay. We've been told by the admissions office that if you do not meet the admissions requirements at the end of summer for spring admissions, you do not qualify for spring admissions. So you would be denied, but you don't necessarily have to be denied. You would petition to have the admissions office consider your fall enrollment in meeting that 60 units.
Okay. Is there a reason there that you guys are, that the information is not consistent between the two?
I'm not sure, but this is what we're being told by the admissions office and the petitions coordinator.
Okay, so where would we obtain that form then?
It's not a form, it actually is an email. You're going to, I'm trying to remember exactly where on the website it is, but it's admission petitions, admission with no S, petitions with an S at csueastbay.edu.
Okay, thank you. Do you mind to drop that in the thing so I can copy it?
Why don't you email me and I'll get it for you?
Awesome, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, any other questions out there? I'm sorry, we do have a few more. Okay, I think we've gotten through all of them. If not, please send us an email with your questions. I will check to see if anybody else has raised their hand. And I don't, oh, Bradley, you have another question. Bradley, go ahead.
Hey, Mark, just wanted to clarify with you. So I'll submit the fall application and email you my DD-214, and that will consist as the appeal?
No, the DD-214 is the recognition that you're a veteran, and therefore you just kind of move to that consideration pile. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I email you that directly, or does it get uploaded to the application?
To the application.
Okay.
Yep. And if you are not able to upload it to the application, if there's a technical issue, then you can definitely email it to me, and I'll hand it over to the evaluator processing your file.
Got it. Thank you. Now, yeah, I still have 14 units to take this fall, but I will be completed at the 60 unit requirement then. So I'll just fill out the regular application.
Yes. Now, sometimes when you do that, you have to submit as lower division if it doesn't allow you to do it, or you project that you're going to have 60 by the end of the fall. As long as you're able to, as a veteran, as long as you're able to submit the application and get the DD-214 to us, we'll know what to do.
Okay. Thank you, Mark.
Okay. Mark, I think we're done. If nobody else has raised their hand.
Well, Louise, I do see one question. I know we gotta probably run, but it's probably an important one
Okay,
that we don't see very often though, and both of our brain power may have to be used for this one. When I'm entering my grades for my high school coursework section on the application, my high school switched from trimester to semesters my junior year. Yikes. Is there any way for me to indicate that on the coursework?
I know I deal with a lot of high schools. I mean, that's, but I haven't seen that. You're only allowed to enter one format. So if it switched junior year, so that means 2 years on a trimester and 2 years on a semester. Try to be as consistent as possible. So I would probably go with the semester because it's probably easier to put in 2 grades instead of eliminating 1 grade for the last 2 years. So if you can put it consistently as semester, when you send in your high school transcript, the evaluator will review it to determine the correct GPA and coursework completion. That probably would be the best thing to do. But yeah, that's kind of confusing. And you only need to do it if you are coming in as an entering freshman. You do not need to put in high school information if you are a transfer student. Okay, Mark, I think we're pretty much done, unless anybody's raised their hand again. But I will double check, and we have nobody raising their hand. So thank you, everybody, for being with us today. If you, like, again, our email addresses are up there. If you need to contact us, let us know, and we can go ahead and get back to you, or share your information with the person who's covering your school. Okay, Mark, anything?
No, again, thank you for considering Cal State East Bay. It's a great school. We look forward to having you on campus, if not virtually, you know, certainly, well, definitely virtually this fall, but hopefully physically in person live as the future months proceed. Take care, everyone. Stay safe.
Thank you. And we're ending.
Okay.